Hello everyone, welcome to Slipjoint Sawyer. Today we're going to be doing an overview and sort of a walk around of a custom Swiss Army knife I did this morning. Quite impressed this one. I think it's quite a decent model. It's not something you normally get, so we're going to take a look at it. This isn't it, this is just an example of an Alox, which is what the custom is of. But you can see Alox is going to be a lot harder to do because you've got the exposed pivots on there and you need to make sure they're all sort of looking uniform, smoothed off, or if you're not good like peening like me, do your best and then sort of sand it over. So is it perfect? No, but it's my sort of one of my first attempts with Alox and I'm pretty impressed with it. But we'll take a look at it now. So here it is. Alox 93mm, which is about 3.75 inches closed, give or take a little tiny bit. And this is one I'm calling the Swiss Army 2-X. Now we're going to talk about why that is. So Swiss Army 2, you see it's a one layer design. You get a main blade and then you get this little hawk bill. Same with the Pioneer, you get the main blade, the punch and then the opening layer, and then the Pioneer X you get the scissors. So Swiss Army 2-X, you get the scissors. So it made it into a two layer. You can see I've retained the primary sort of functions of the SA2, just added the scissors at the front. And this is my first sort of attempt at doing anything really like this with Alox. I did try one before and I tried using 91mm scissors and it didn't sort of work out too well. The action's pretty poor on it. But this one I'm pretty impressed with. So it's the standard pressed Alox scales in the silver. I managed to retain the old pins from a Farmer X that I took apart as a donor knife. So normally you would have to replace all of these, but because they were long enough from a 4 layer down to a 2, I could reuse those. It's nice to sort of reuse things when you can. See, did a pretty good job on it. Maybe the tiniest little bit of gapping up here, but the action is so good on these sort of tools this end, I don't want to peen it anymore because I'm afraid I'll do it too tight and then it'll just be useless. But front layer then, we have the scissors. This is the 93mm scissors, so it fits much better on this one than the 91s I tried to fit in there. I don't know if there's actually too much difference in them, I just couldn't get the 91s to work properly in there at all. You can see they keep the nice action with a really nice snap, which is why I don't want to tighten that side up anymore. See, didn't do too much to these really. There wasn't really anything needed to do. It was more just sort of a construction build this rather than a sort of a fully custom mod. You also get the main blade on here, and this is from a brand new Swiss Army 2. I made this, so all the tools are brand new. Blade length then 1 to 2 3/4, maybe 2.8, just about. Does make it a UK legal blade with a legal cutting edge of we're pretty much bang on that 2.5 mark. So this is one I'm actually going to be carrying and using. You see I put a little pocket dangler on there, or suspension clip, whatever you want to call it. This will be going straight in my pocket, just because I'm quite impressed with the work I did on it, to be honest. You can see nice action on the main blade, nice and smooth. And then at the back, of course, Swiss Army 2 doesn't have a punch. It has this wonderful little pruner or little tiny hawkbill blade. And I love this little thing. I think it's fantastic for package opening. And that's generally what I've been doing a lot of recently. I've had a couple of packages in, a lot of clamshell stuff. And this is perfect for that. You get your finger up here, score around the outside of the packet, or you can even just pinch up and just get this much of the blade going through, so you're not going to sort of damage anything underneath. You can see the action is great on that as well. Blade length for that is, well, it's going to be way under the UK limit because look how small the blade is. It's like 1.5 inches, and then like I mean, it probably is closer to the like a 1.5 inch cutting length, but because you got that recurve, I mean, 1.8, oh no, sorry, 1.4 inches. So, but we got no troubles carrying this in the UK. It's a nice little smart multi-tool is what people see it as. Even though it's a knife, a lot of people say it's a multi-tool. For me, it's a knife. Here's my peening on the back. It's not 100% perfect. You can see I have filed it down a little bit. Mainly because when you peen this, you've got to be very accurate. But if you hit any of this Alox, you can see I got it just about here. And it's flattened a couple of these sort of pyramid shapes out. So you need to be very careful when doing this. So I went for the route of just doing it as close as I can get it with the action being good, and then I decided to sort of use a Dremel and file off the top of those pins. Now, is this one I would want to sell? No, it's not perfect. I wouldn't want to sell anyone this one unless I was happy with it myself. But for me, to use and abuse and carry, no trouble carrying this at all. Wonderful 2-layer design. I've always been a big fan of the Swiss Army 2, but I've never really carried it because there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a little bit slim for a carry for me. So I always feel like, same with the knives, you know, like the folded over metal. When I'm carrying this and I'm using it, it always feels like it might sort of turn in my hand. But with the added scissors in this layer, or you could even add a saw if you wanted to, you get that little bit of extra width and it feels really secure in your hand. And of course I retained the keyring loop from the Farmer X, because that's one thing that the Swiss Army 2 doesn't have, is a keyring loop. I know a lot of people prefer it without, but for me personally, I always have my Swiss Army knife hanging in my pocket, and I keep my other knife in this little slip with a pen on the side. And that's just how I prefer to carry my knives. I did go through a phase of using a Viper Aid, but honestly, I find this carry method way better. Keeps it sort of out of your pocket. You haven't got a bulky thing in your pocket at all. Swiss Army 2-X. One that I will hopefully make a couple more of. Maybe send a few out around the community to see what people think. But I think this is one that Victorinox should make from standard. Very great tools. Honestly, it's quite unique and I'm just really happy with it. Just something about the 93mm blade. You do get that little bit thicker blade stock. Just a bit more of a sort of a workman's knife than the 91mm. Now, my preference is always going to be the 91mm. That's what I collect. That's what I love. Do I collect the Alox ones I like? Sure. I'm never going to go for them all, which is why I was happy to sort of take down a Farmer X to sort of make this up. But there we go, guys. That's my review of my latest custom. This is the Victorinox Swiss Army 2-X. The X, of course, being for the scissors. I really hope you enjoyed this. If you want to see more custom builds, or maybe me building a custom knife on a live weekend, or maybe just doing a custom build, like a whole process through, it would always be a longer video. But if you guys want to see that, please let me know and I can sort something out. Hope you enjoyed this. Please be sure to like, subscribe and ring that bell for notifications, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.
Matt's got a channel, man sharp as a blade. Slipjoint Sawyer is the name he made. Pocket knives until they flow with flair. Restorations done with craftsman's care.